Hello, everyone. Welcome to another amazing conversation on the Talks with Twyla show. I've missed y'all. I have tremendously missed y'all. But listen, tonight is going to be an amazing conversation. Listen, you got to tune in, share this live feed. We're on YouTube under the Talks with Twyla show. And when I say that, listen, you're going to be in for an amazing, amazing conversation because y'all do know that I am Twyla M. Marks, your number one encouragement expert. And I'm in the middle of planning this amazing major event called Picking Up the Pieces Expo. What is it? It's all about helping you, men and women, heal and recover and move forward after experiencing anything traumatic in your life. Have you been there? I've been there. And I'm not here to go through my whole life's journey because I have an amazing guest with me on tonight. And I want to just welcome her to the show. And her name is Pastor Tammy Dozier. She's a certified grief educator. And so let's just welcome Pastor Tammy to the Talks with Twyla show on tonight.
Well, hello there.
Okay, come on, hat. Hello.
I wore my hat just for you.
I love it, love it. Yes, we're twinning on tonight. What I think that's what
Yes,
they say,
glasses
twinning.
and hats. How about that?
And I actually have that exact hat. I almost wore that, but yeah, we would have really been twinning, Pastor Tammy. But
Okay.
okay, so Pastor Tammy, why don't you just introduce yourself, tell a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then we'll just jump right on in to the conversation on tonight.
Okay, well, thank you. Let me before we do all that, let me just thank you and your audience for having me on tonight. This is such an honor. I was getting ready. I says, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna tell my husband. So I'm gonna put a hat on because that's her thing." I said, "So let me put on a hat." But thank you so much for allowing me in your space on tonight. As she said, I'm Tammy Dozier. I'm an ordained pastor, so Pastor Tammy is what most people call me. And I am, of course, an ordained pastor, but I am a certified grief educator. And we can talk a little bit about what that is once we get off into the conversation. But I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm happily married. I've been married for 20 years, and I love, love, love allowing people to express their feelings because we've been told to keep it all in, don't say much. So, as a grief educator, that's part of what I do. I'm also an author. I'm a published author of a memoir entitled The Death of a Bag Lady. I'm a national speaker. I'm a conference speaker, facilitator, and God has just gifted me with a lot of things to do. And before I leave here, I'm going to try to do all of them that He's called me to do.
Absolutely. Love it.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Yes. And you will. Yes. And so I thank you so much, Pastor Tammy, for being here and the introduction. And so let's jump right on into what is a certified grief educator?
Okay. Well, a certified grief educator, I tell people off the cuff, I'm not a therapist nor am I a clinician, but I am certified through world renowned grief expert David Kessler. And he has this certification program, and I was the bereavement pastor at my church. And so when I knew the name, and so I started diving into exactly what that meant. And so I said, okay, this kind of sounds like something that I may want to dive into. And as the powers that be, things happened. We had COVID and we had so much going on. And God just showed me then, no, this is what you're supposed to do. And so, as a certified grief educator, as I said, I'm not a clinician or a counselor, but I educate people about the true meaning of grief. And I'm also a grief coach. So I coach people that are grieving the loss of something because we often, when we hear the word grief, what comes to people's mind?
Right. A
Somebody
lot
died.
of someone
right?
passing away. Absolutely,
Right,
yes.
somebody passing away, and that's the furthest thing from the truth. We can grieve a loss of someone or something, and the definition, I'm sorry, for grief is the internal emotional response. So you hear
Mhm.
grief and you hear mourning used interchangeably, but they're two different meanings. So, grief is the internal emotional response that we feel at the loss of someone or something, and mourning is what people see. They see us in
Okay.
the tears. They see the way we aren't as visible or present. They see us wearing black, and so that's mourning. The
Mhm.
Bible even speaks of calling for the wailing women, and that's where our mourning is. So that's what they see on the outside.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah, that was a very, very informative. And, myself, I have been on the end of losing a loved one. And we're not going
absolutely.
to dive too deep in this because later on in this conversation, we're going to talk about this event. But I, Pastor Tammy, when I tell you losing my grandmother, that grief journey, and I felt like it was about to take me out. I'm so serious when I say this, and I've shared this publicly. I took off work for 6 months. I really didn't know where and how I was going to pick up those broken pieces of my life because my grandmother was my mom, my dad, my grandfather, everything in one person. So she raised me from a little girl all the way up to my adulthood. And so when I tell you when she passed away, I didn't know what to do. Like, listen, I
And
sat in the
I hear that a lot. So
yeah,
and
I
that's
cried.
normal. Yes.
I didn't even know how to pick up or where to begin to start life or begin life without her being in my life physically.
Right.
And so when I say that, I don't know if we have some folks watching now or will watch this replay. When you lose something or someone, it will almost feel like about to take you out of here because you have to start
Absolutely.
over. You have to pick
Absolutely.
up those pieces. You have to start over. You don't even really know where to start, right? And I went on a 6 months journey of counseling, therapy, from my psychologist. That's what I'm trying to say, psychologist, to taking off work, to a counselor, and not only faith, but it also, for me, it took faith and therapy. And you being a pastor, a minister, a woman of God, what can you share with folks that are watching now that, oh, yes, it does take faith, but it also takes some therapy as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I was listening intently. That's one of the things that I do as a grief coach. And I'll have my clients, they'll say, "Are you there? Or are you listening?" And we're so used to listening to respond versus to hear what the individual is saying. So I was just allowing you the opportunity to go ahead and say what you need to say. I was listening intently. But I too know about this grief journey. My mother passed away in 2006. My sister, my oldest sister, the oldest of six children, passed away in 2021. So that's kind of a fresh wound. And so I know exactly what it is. But one of the things that you said, and I wanted to jump in on when you said about me being an ordained pastor, and I'm an ordained pastor, I'm a preacher first. But one of the things that I want to share with your audience and our community, and it's become my life mission, and that is to share with the body of Christ, our community, that this when we seek grief coaching, grief therapy, a therapist, a psychiatrist, that does not negate the fact that we are believers.
Absolutely.
The Bible tells us to seek wise counsel, and your pastor may not be well versed in grief. He can pray with you. You know, and this is not a knock against anybody's leader, but we need to come from the place that just pray it away, or what goes on in the house
Come
stays in the house.
on.
We need to do away with that, because there are generation upon generation upon generation of people who just put the tray in front of Uncle Willie's door, make sure he's fed, and going about their business. But Uncle Willie's still grieving the loss of his wife or his child, or listen to this, his job, and nobody ever talked about it. And so grief is
Amen.
it's just not the passing of someone. It's the job that we lost, when the plant closed. It's the house we lost. Listen to this, when the plant closed, because we didn't have the money to pay the house note. So it
Yeah.
entails so much, and it's just not prayer. Prayer and therapy go hand in hand, and coaching. They're
Amen.
all go hand in hand. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you said a mouthful right there. Yes, prayer and therapy. It takes both. And also something else you said was what goes on in this house stays in this house. I
Oh
don't
yeah, we all
understand
heard that. It's
where
some
that
point
came
of a
from.
time in our lives. Yeah.
Yes, we have. And so we're going to help people get out of that belief system and mindset. It's okay to go talk to someone about your
Absolutely.
problems and issues and what you're dealing with to become whole and healed and recover from all of that past trauma, right?
My entire childhood had to be grieved. It was a whole big grief session, and we talk about traumatic grief, and so that's a whole different conversation for another time. We'll talk about, because there's several different types of grief. But yes, a lot of the things that we saw as all of us have a past, whether we want to discuss them or not. Some may not be nearly as traumatic as others, but we all have a past, and some of those things in our past need to be grieved. We need to grieve the little girl in us. I tell people I'm going to be working on something where we're going to visit that little girl.
Oh, that's nice. Yes. Childhood trauma, right? Childhood trauma.
Absolutely. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes. Well, that is a great segue to talk about what is going on in a little over a couple of months, right? And so,
Right.
y'all, listen, Pastor Tammy is going to be at the Picking Up the Pieces Expo. She is a featured panelist on, what do you think? The Grief Recovery Panel. And Pastor Tammy, when we talk about grief, I'm excited to even have the conversation because for me, what I just mentioned, myself, I was close. It's been over a year and a half now, but she passed away in September of 2022. So here we are, a year and a half, and I'm not where I used to be, but I can continue on that path of grief recovery. And so you and I are going to have a conversation at the Picking Up the Pieces
Okay.
conference expo, right? That
I'm
we're you
looking
and I,
forward to it.
yes.
We're
And
going to have our
then
own fireside chat. Yes.
yes, we are. We're going to have our own fireside chat. I'm going to dive more deeper into my personal journey. I'm going to ask you questions. It's going to be a phenomenal conversation between us. So, what can you share for anybody that's watching live now or will watch the replay? They got to get in the room, right? Like, you got to get there. Saturday,
Yeah.
April 27th.
Well, what I would say is, and those that know me and kind of know my personality, I've been told that I'm pretty funny, but I can be pretty firm too. So I would say this: um, when we talk about self care, that's the buzzwords, self care and trauma, and all these different buzzwords, and we think about self care. A lot of times, the first thing we go to is a mani pedi facial. Mac Counter,
Mm.
Nordstrom's, Gucci store, whatever store you go to, right? But
Yeah.
you're messed up. You're dealing
Mm.
with stuff and you're trying to shop it away. You're trying to get a new design on your nail to make, but we have to look at self-care more than just these outward appearances.
Oh,
I
yeah.
tell people that was one of the reasons why I wrote my book, The Death of a Bag Lady, several years ago in my life. That was important to me, was this outward shell, and I would look the part, but nobody knew my childhood secrets that I had tucked away. And so this is for the person. I've looked at your lineup of guests, and I'm honored to be with such an amazing lineup of people, experts in their fields. And so I would say to the person, if you aren't even sure that you're grieving, because a lot of people aren't even really sure that they're grieving. Oh, I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah.
I get a lot when people come into contact with me, and then they blow up my inbox with questions. And so I tell people all the time is that you need to recognize that you are grieving and that hurting, healing hurts.
Yes,
He,
ma'am.
healing hurts. If you burned yourself on an iron before it was totally healed, it had to go through some stages. You know,
Right.
we had to put some medicine on it. We had to let, scab over all these different stages. And it's just as if we're going through the stages of grief, and we'll talk about those, later. But
Right.
these stages will help one identify where they are. And here's the thing, and I tell people all the time, I do not want to be the bearer of bad news, but grief doesn't end.
Oh
It's
no.
That's why it's called a journey. It's not a sprint.
Is it?
Okay, I
Oh
saw
yes.
4 weeks
Come
and I'm
on.
good. Because a song will come on the radio that will almost
Oh,
take you out when you're driving down 635, And so
completely
it
out. Yes.
completely out. I've
Yes.
had that happen. I posted in November. I was in the Kroger minding my own business, shopping
Mhm.
for Thanksgiving dinner, and I saw this display of cranberry sauce. And I lost
Oh,
it because my sister, Regina, would always say, Tammy, do we have enough cranberry sauce for dinner? And I just
oh,
was weeping in the middle of Kroger. So it's not a sprint,
yeah.
it's a journey. But here's the
Yeah.
thing. The good news is that we grow around it. We grow
Yes.
around our grief. So
That's
that's the
good.
good news. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That's
So self-care is
amazing
not many
praise.
and petty. It's about taking care of these our bodies and our mental health. Take care of your mental health before it becomes mental illness. There's a difference in those two.
Oh my goodness. See, we're talking all about what this event is all about. Yes, it's going to be an amazing mental health panel
Yes.
discussion as well. Oh my gosh, and I love it. Before it becomes a mental illness. And
Hmm.
so, y'all got to go out here to Eventbrite right
Yes.
now. Like after this
Right
live
now.
ends. Matter of fact, don't even wait till the live ends. Go on out there
Yeah, watch
right
the
now
replay. Go ahead and get your tickets before they sell out.
before they
I'm so
sell
looking
out.
forward to this. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to this because I'm invited to speak at a lot of different events. Some I say yes to, and as the years have gone by, there have been some that I've had to say no to. But when we were connected with our dear Sister Sesson, we talked and we jived and we gelled like immediately.
Immediately.
And
And
this
y'all
is
see,
something.
because we got the hats on. So you know
Well,
she can put
I
a
tell
hat on for
people,
the show tonight. So we
I put
connected.
my
We
hat
like
on.
sisters.
I put my hat on for you, and I tease people all the time. I says I'm old school. I'm from Kansas City. Like I said, it's cold in the winter, so we don't wear felt in the summer. But it's wintertime, so because they're warm, they're meant to keep your head warm, right? So I put my hat on for you under the hot lights, but I put it on just for you, and I love hats, by the way. But yes, this is important, and like I said, it's time. We are in a season, the body of Christ, where there's just one attack after another, and I'll we'll just pray about it. And prayer is good. The Bible tells us that men ought to always pray, but there's some other components to us being whole. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Now,
Yes.
Pastor Tammy, as we get ready to end, I want to put a pin right here and talk a
Okay.
little bit about the event. And some people may be watching, they see that you're a pastor, you're a woman of God. Now, I want to put a pin here and share with everybody. This is not a church event, but it is an event for you to heal and recover from your past traumas or maybe your present traumas, whatever you're going through. Now, I don't want folks to watch this live and watch the replay and think they're coming to church. No, you're not coming to church, but listen, I will promise you when you walk out that room, you're going to feel different than you did when you came in that door because the panel discussions, the featured speakers are absolutely amazing. They're all in the space to help you recover from trauma, whatever your trauma is. So go
Absolutely.
out to Eventbrite. It's scrolling around across the bottom of the screen. It's picking up the pieces expo, arlington.eventbrite.com. There's tickets still available. There's a few vendor spots still available. There's absolutely sponsorship opportunities available. And if you catch the vision of helping men and women heal and recover and move forward and pick up those pieces of your life that may be broken right now, this is the event you can't afford to miss, right, Pastor Tammy?
Absolutely. And you said something cute. What did you say? Catch the Oh,
Catch
catch
the
the
vision.
catch the vision. I like that. That tweaked my ear. Catch the vision. Y'all, we have to get in the space where it's more than just about, as I said a moment ago, this outer look. We hey girl, you cute, girl, I like that. But people can be
Yeah,
tore up on the inside. And so, like I said, you have an amazing panel of experts in their field. I'm just honored to be a part of it. As she said, that we're not having a church service. We are going to be there with not just tips, but experts in what we do. Not just okay. Let me see. No, we're going to have people there that can help you on your road to wholeness. And so,
right.
like I said, I'm a preacher first, but we have to add practical and therapeutic. Yes, we have to add all that in the pot together. It's about being whole. And so we're all going to be there. I'm excited about it. I can't wait for our fireside chat. And I want to see some of the people that I know. I shared this link on my social media platforms. And I want to see some of you all there. Again, we have to come out of the place where we feel ashamed if we've gone through some. I tell people all the time, Twyla, can't
Right.
nobody tell you nothing about me because I didn't wrote. Listen, I got my book.
Listen, okay,
I didn't wrote 4 books about my life.
come
So
on.
because you have to get in. I'm not saying that you have to write a book, but
No,
healing comes. It starts with inside first, and
that's
each
right.
each person needs to know, hey, you know what, this may be for me, and don't be afraid to come. Don't feel ashamed to come.
No,
Come, fellowship, have a great time, get the
yeah,
help, get the information, and
that's right.
hey, you never know. And I'll say this, and I don't want to take up too much time. A
No,
lot
no
of the
problem.
things that many of us may be wondering, God, you haven't answered this prayer. I'm working hard. I'm chasing the bag. I hired a business coach. I've done all these things, but you still haven't got the other help that you need.
That's right. The
Yes, ma'am.
inside. That's
Inside.
right. That's right.
Yes,
And y'all, it's an all-day event from 8:30 to 5 p.m. Lunch will be served. Get you a hat because I failed to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. It's a
oh,
Kentucky
yes.
Derby theme. That's the theme of the event. So y'all know what Kentucky Derby is all about. Come on with your hat. Now that's not necessary, but put your hat on. Go get your best hat. There's going to be door prizes, vendors. All the vendors there are in the space to help you recover from trauma. Life coaches, psychologists, mental health therapists, all of these things. All of these people are going to be in one room. You can't miss it. So share it with your people, share it with your family, your friends, your church members, anyone that you know that needs to be there. Saturday, April 27th at the Hilton Hotel in Arlington, Texas, from 8:30 to 5 p.m. Tickets are on Eventbrite right now. Stop what you're doing and go out there and just buy your ticket. We are over 2 months away, but April 27th will be here so fast because these days
Absolutely.
just fly by, don't they,
They're
Pastor
running
Tammy? They just
together.
fly by.
Right.
So we'll see y'all on Saturday, April 27th. Until next time, this is Twyla M. Marks, your number one encouragement expert. I'm out. Bye. Love y'all.